of course, before the break, we were talking about the size of the funds and so forth as relates to the new roundabout. You talk about that wall that seems to maybe hazardous. You understand? There's a sign put up on it that is stating that folks should be paying notice to that. We were talking off here a while ago, and you mentioned, of course, you've seen some new signs been put up, especially in the Kirani James Boulevard area.
Yes.
Tell us a wee bit about that. What's your take on that?
So there are often signs that are erected. Some of them, they are inconspicuous. They're not sometimes well placed, and sometimes the font is not user friendly. In that people don't really get to read them very easy. And there are some that could be ambiguous, or it can create nuances in terms of whether you should go this way or that way. And so again, I want to really compliment or commend the authority for being forward thinking in maintaining the aesthetics of the Kirani James Boulevard. There was a cleanup campaign that was done. There were some things that were removed, and there were some things that were erected. And recently, I've seen some signs saying no littering, one of it, and the other one saying no docking. And so my concern for the benefit of viewers and listeners is whether or not that is a docking area, or whether or not docking and no docking suits the area in terms of where no docking is written and it shouldn't happen. Because if you understand what docking is and you understand what berthing is, it would give different meanings as it really is. So we should be able to get feedback from that from the persons who may know better. But berthing and docking, they are two different things. A pier, a wharf, and a port, they also carry sometimes similar but different meanings in terms of where and what they're supposed to be providing. And so if you're speaking about docking in a particular area, it means that there should be some physical structure erected that may facilitate passengers and goods, etc. And if we're speaking about berthing of vessels and ships and so forth, it means that it is like an authorized parking space. Technically, that should allow people to be there for a particular time. And as we speak about that, I want to also say that from our last conversation last week, we've seen an effort in terms of those boating of the fishing vessels across the carnage. We've seen some people have been making an attempt to get them tied up on the inside rather than across the walkway. We're hoping that the authority can move again further into this, because what some of the people have done, they send their ropes and the chains through the water exits from the road. And what you find, if that is allowed to happen, when you have rains and those boats are there, the water will not flow as easy as it should, and you can have flooding in that area much easier than it would. So the authority need to look into that and to create the space, maybe take 8 or 10 inches off the edge of the sidewalk and create proper boating anchors for these vessels to be there and still allow safe pedestrian access while going along rather than coming straight across. So I thought I needed to draw this to our attention for ease of ensuring that when things are, we understand them, and maybe the authority could give some explanation. And I think they are correct in terms of... You're
just saying the issue of in the Kirani James Boulevard, the sign that says no docking, it's not an appropriate sign. I'm
not saying it's not appropriate or saying it's appropriate. I'm saying maybe we should be given some explanation as to, and so many of them have gone up there, whether or not docking, I am not sure that it is the right thing. I'm sure other people might not be
listening
be sure
to the explanation you gave in terms of the difference between docking and berthing, right? And under the circumstances, I don't think docking should have been the proper word.
And maybe it could, because there are jetties in there as well, and a dock place and a jetty, they are two different things just as well. So, and I know that there are jetties in there. And so we would probably need maybe somebody from Port Authority, an expert in some field, to be able.
Maybe there's a listener of you over there who
would understand it and say that the Kirani James Boulevard
call us and
that seashore area, because when you have a docking, it's a space that goes off from the regular sea access itself. that generates a physical structure for boats and passengers and all these things to happen. And I'm sure the authorities trying to prevent these things from happening, and there would definitely be a reason why they say no docking. But me, from a layman's point of view, I'm not too sure that I understand that that's what docking there along the entire strip should be, and what portion should docking be, or should there be boating taking place, because there are boats that are tied up there, and whether they are allowed to boat or whether docking is not permitted but boating is.
All right. Maybe someone as a morning professor.
Somebody will give us a call.
There's a listener of yours who may have a bit of an understanding of the pre-reason, or you're probably part of what's the signage being put up and so forth.
That's correct.
And you want to say, hey, those are the reasons why they put that there for some reason. Maybe you could always call in and give us an explanation for that. Someone from within the authorities also, if you're listening to and you say, well, let me give an explanation to Mr. Sylvan McIntyre and Jackie on the program this morning. And I say we have a call already. Let's
hope that they're contributing towards that.
Give us a little bit of explanation on that. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Morning, Brother McIntyre. God bless you.
Thank you, Siddharth.
We work together for years.
Yes.
We walk in land together.
Okay.
Caller, I think you have your radio or something in the background that's a little too loud, so it's distracting you. And I'm not sure if you're really calling to contribute in terms of what we're speaking about this morning.
Yeah, but my boy, I don't see how much years now. We work together in SSU. We go to Goddard School together in Bodjo School. Marcia.
Oh, hi, Marcia.
God bless you.
Thank you very much for supporting us on the program. Yes.
All right, my dear. Have a good morning.
My mother passed away.
My condolences. Yeah, and we'll be in touch off air. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you there. So once again, we were hoping someone would call and give us a bit of an explanation what we're talking about. If it does the sign they appropriate for what is there,
and maybe
I'm not saying it's not appropriate.
And I don't have to be correct. I would be the most humblest of persons to accept that maybe my observation is not there. But I'm representing those who may have difficulty in understanding.
Having that ignorance of what.
And we raised issue on signs before.
Yes.
Placement and the meanings, and there have been adjustments to them.
Yeah.
So I think people need more times to be with eyes on the issues so that we can always have the best fit for us. And remembering that we're not creating a Grenada just for the tourists. We are creating a Grenada for ourselves to enjoy, and it has to be a reflection of our intellectual capacities, our knowledge of fitting within the global environment that we are there. And so when things happen, it's also good for us to have the arguments on either side to make sure we always get the best fit.
So it gets everybody on the same page, as they would say. We do have a caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning,
Mr. McIntyre. I do see your point, and I do agree that there needs to be some form of clarity. But I wanted to ask you this. Could it be because in recent times the area there has been used as a parking lot for persons who are going on the different cruises and boats and so on, they're creating that obstruction on the road, and because it is taking up road space, maybe the government saw it as a quote-unquote means of deterring persons from engaging in such a practice. So if there is no boating and so on, or no docking, whatever it is, and of course I do want some clarity likewise, that means then therefore boats cannot be there for persons to come and set up their vehicles and go for hours on parties.
Some clarity. Absolutely.
I understand it from that point.
Yes, from that point of view.
From that point of view, I understand it from it. Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. From that bit of explanation there, I understand it for that.
And remember, we said in the meaning of docking, it says facilitating passengers and goods, etc. So maybe, as he's saying, that area could be used, and they are guarding against the creating a norm or tradition of people using that area, so the word docking came up. So somebody's calling again.
We have another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
Morning, and morning to Mr. McIntyre.
Good
morning to you, sir.
Well, I would want to believe it. When a boat comes in and it gives birth, it's for a period of time. And when I might be wrong, and when you dock a boat, you think about dry dock, you go for repairs, and what have you, and subject to be correction. But like the tourist boat, they give boat outside for a period of time and then they leave. So we need more clarity on the docking and boating, but I think when they say dock, it's because that boat should be pulled up for repairs and
well, as we said, so that you're still supporting what we're saying in terms of there has to be a physical structure that takes it off of the regular sea course. So docking, you may have dry dock and otherwise, but yes, and the berthing obviously is a parking space that ought to be temporary.
Temporary.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, caller. Thank you, caller.
Thanks.
Well,
so we're getting some feedback.
We're getting some feedback, and that kind of explains it.
It gives a little bit, but we need a
different angle.
We need probably an expert to come and say precisely this is what it is, and maybe we can get a feedback from. Is it? Who that physical, not physical planning? Is it roadworks and
I'm not sure
communication
if it's, I don't know if it's Port Authority also could of course be.
But those signs there, it also says do not litter, and alongside, and that's why one of the previous caller mentioned maybe the increasing activities in that area. People might be doing boating, docking of vessels there. They are doing commercial activities and they are littering when they're going on and off. And so that could be as a deterring factor for people not to be using those areas unauthorized and to not deface the area
because
and litter the area.
The individuals do park there, especially sometimes when they do have these events via these boats. And then the traffic becomes an obstruction for the road users. So
so we treat it for what it worth, and maybe we're going to have somebody giving you an off-air explanation, or maybe some person we had. I think the Minister of Mobilization had a lot to do with creating some of the enhancement to the aesthetic in that area and in the Grandlands area. Maybe they too from that ministry might be able to give us some explanation.
Let's take our final caller in this segment and then we move on. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Good morning.
Gentlemen.
How are you doing, sir?
Right. Well, a mini export. You have a car park. Boats now we use some docking. So when you have boats in a special area, what you say, well, you might say car park there. You have that dock there, the boat is docked. You have boats that they have a buoy anchor and the boats come there. They call that mooring. When you're not on a mooring and you're just in an area, you're just anchored there. And you could use the term dry docks, where you go to put a boat on a dock, like on a height, and you clean in the bottom of the boat. So you have that. And they have a lot of regulation, like how you have a car, what side you pass in a boat when you're on the sea, what the red buoy means, and what the green one means. You have all that stuff. So like even on the boat, you're traveling on the sea, you're not really, according to the distances, you're not supposed to pass in front of the incoming boat. You have to pass at the rear. You have boat side and you have dock side. You have a green light and it have a green light and a red light. They have difference. It's just like the traffic and everything. It's the same thing, but a lot of people don't know. You're coming into the harbor. As soon as you're coming in, as soon as you reach by the red buoy, if it was coming in 90 miles, you break down to 5 or 10. Just an explanation.
All right, caller. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, so that's another.
That's another angle. I think we've exhausted. I think the contribution where that is concerned, and we really thank everybody for the contribution towards that aspect of it. And still, we would probably, when we get an official,
someone from the authorities, and say, hey, this is the reason why we put that sign as no docking.
Yes, and it seemed to be a sign of urgency because they just placed them, and it's a number of them, and they go side by side. No docking and no littering. So it seemed as though the first caller who contributed towards that were probably more on point in terms of there could be a preventative measure not for the inappropriate use of the area.
We could think for that. Mr. Mac, let's take a break and we come back to our substantial conversation this morning when we come back. We take a break, folks. Stay with us. We'll be right back. It's To The Point Classic Radio, GBN TV.
you ready for the ultimate culinary showdown? GBN presents Oil Down Fest. Oil Down Fest. Oil Down Fest 2025. Who will be crowned the Oil Down King or Queen? Compete to win in exciting categories like the most creative presentation and People's Choice. Mark your calendars, Saturday, February 1st, 2025, and join us in celebrating Grenada's 51st Independence Anniversary in style. Call or WhatsApp 473-407-8458 to register. Don't wait. Spots are filling up fast. This one-of-a-kind festival will feature electrifying music from Hot FM's top DJs, vibrant craft exhibition, and captivating performances by local artists. Don't miss the tastiest and most exciting event of the year, GBN's Oil Down Fest 2025. Saturday, February 1st.
Oh, long they look real good, enough.
Proudly supported by Flow.
Coming up, these chefs and mixologists produce their creative best for their biggest party yet. This steel band has been making a difference for over 40 years. An island filled with beauty, a vibrant culture, and an iconic natural attraction. Now, where can this be? It's all next on this station.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers, to The Point, Classic Radio GBN TV. It's Monday, the 20th day of January. And, of course, Mr. Sylvan McIntyre is with me once again this morning. We put a hold on the call, so now I'm seeing individuals are calling, but we're going to put a hold on the call for this segment. And we probably will have another open line segment before we wrap this morning.
Yes.
Our substantial conversation this morning, Mr. McIntyre, we want to talk about physical fitness.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to road safety.
Yeah.
Physical fitness is essential, especially for safe driving.
Yes.
You know, it goes about with your state of mind and everything else.
Yes.
You know, it goes down from your visibility in terms of your eyes,
yes.
your mental state of mind and everything. All of that encompasses, you know, your physical fitness.
Yes.
You're not just being able to run and walk, after all, is considered physical fitness, but your overall well-being when you're driving. Why you would like to expand on that this morning, especially when it comes to physical fitness and in relation to road safety?
Yes. There are some people that are putting other persons at risk and themselves in danger because their physical fitness doesn't afford them to be able to be in proper control of the instrument or the vehicle, and in some case a weapon of mass destruction that they're carrying. Mm-hmm. And so if you understand the benefit of physical fitness, as you mentioned, it aids your ability to be much sharper. It aids your thinking and even your ability to maneuver.
Yeah.
The point I want to drive home is that not enough attention is given to that aspect of readiness to be on the road. And the average person thinks it is okay to be very active. Otherwise, you sit in an office behind the computer all day and you get into the vehicle at the end of the day and head home. You go to bed for a couple of hours and you get in again the next day. There are particular muscles in your body that need to be activated, and if they're not, you lose the use of them, or they become weaker when you need them.
Yes.
Aging is a factor that also can help deteriorating muscles, and if you don't keep them active, they get weaker, and so your ability to maneuver, even to use the manual vehicles that are not so so popular on our roads anymore to maneuver them. But even on the accelerator and the brakes pedal that people use, your legs need to be of particular strength to be able to handle that effectively. And I want persons to understand that regardless of what your job description happen to be, you need to find some time and space to be engaged in physical activity and ensure that not just the muscles from your fingers into your shoulders that get activated, but if you're sitting there behind the computer, your legs are not very active, are they? Those muscles, they are sitting. Your hands, and that's why some people come down with different effects in the hands, because they're stuck to those computers and those other muscles are not activated. So you would be advised, if you need to have more effective control of the vehicles, of yourself, and to decrease your medical bills eventually, and decrease the tendency as you age later on to be visiting the doctors more frequently, you would engage yourself in physical activities at least half an hour to an hour, 4 times per week on average, would give you the ability to get your heart rate at a particular level, your circulatory process, obviously your respiratory process. When the heart stays at a particular condition and it gets used to that condition, when it is brought towards a particular level of stress, it would react not in the way that you'd expect it. So you have to bring your heart up to the normal level or beyond the normal level that you are used to on a day-to-day basis, so that when it is placed with that stress, it is able to deal with it. So the walls of the heart and the muscles of the lung, etc., they are the tissues, they become stronger when they face with adversity. So when you get anxious, you face a situation on the road, because your mindset and your body is used to getting beyond that level of just behind the wheel or just behind the desk, you are able to deal with situations, you are able to make better decisions, you are able to be more patient and tolerant of people, because your whole system reacts differently because you are physically fit. So how can one do that? Generally, I suggest morning time is a preferred time to be engaged in physical activities. People tend to want to do it at evening time, at nights, when you face a lot more disadvantage. Your system is at rest during the course of the night. The body starts using up most of those reserves during those times. It gives itself, the tissue get the opportunity to repair and replace themselves during the period of rest. And so the body purges and processes itself during that period when you are relaxed. And so if you engage in physical activity during the morning, one, if it is interior or exterior, the atmosphere is different. The air quality and everything else is different during that period of time, because you have less polluted activities taking place obviously during the course of the night. So as you go beyond night into the morning, the air seems to be more fresh, it seems to be healthier, and gives you a bit more to work on. When you go through the course of the day, think about it. Your body is involved in other types of activities. There are lots happening around you. There are lots of things that you consume. Your lungs then is a bit more restricted with the amount of things on the inside in your stomach. So it takes a lot more effort to get it expanding and so on, retracting and contracting and so forth during the afternoon period. So you sometimes will be working much harder and getting less results.
Some folks may say they have the ability to do it. There are individuals who may have the ability.
Of course, and
some folks are at that fitness level that doing it in the evening or afternoon time, or in the afternoon or evening time, it's like nothing different to when they do it in the mornings. There are individuals who have that particular capacity.
And we would encourage that. Obviously, once you're involved in physical activity, and there again it differs, because there are people who might be having to leave at a particular time on morning, and therefore the morning time would definitely not suit. The point is, whether you do it in evening or morning, a human being should engage themselves in physical activity outside of the norm. Your norm will get your body focused, fixed, and structured, and certain muscles, one type of muscles in particular areas, would be activated or active more than others. So it makes sense getting involved in activities like swimming, fast walking, jogging in some instance, or just doing breathing exercises and stretching. It does not have to be the gym walk. It doesn't have to be rigorous, but it should be a continuous physical activity that one should involve in to keep the organs and the system functional and functioning in the best and most appropriate way. So it aids your ability in ensuring that you can maneuver that instrument, that equipment, and that weapon that one carries on the street.
What would you say, or what are concerns that you will have, Mr. Mack, in terms of physical fitness and elderly driving?
Mm-hmm. That is another consideration, and I think also that our system must drive elderlies and people at a particular age level to be doing medical checks.
Yeah.
And rechecks of your driving capacity and capability. Our system must have some way of ensuring that we do those checks and balance. In some cases, people who have gotten to a particular age, a lot of things slow down.
Yeah.
Slows down. Even your driving sometimes slow down, and to the disadvantage of others and to the annoyance of many.
Yeah.
And so the road rage would kick in because what happened to that old man or that old woman on the road? Why don't they park up? Why don't they get a driver? Your vision also dimmers and so forth. And the agitation and everything else that is created because of that. And not to get elderly or people who are aged off the road.
Yeah.
But we want people to be conscious that there would be other people using the road. But the safety factor is what we are concerned about. And so there has to be one, that understanding of who's using the road, and then the checks and balance of the capability and capacity of those persons to be advised as to whether or not they should use the road more at a particular time, or whether or not they should be driven by someone, or they should avoid particular areas at particular times. And I think our society must drive itself into that kind of an area where we begin to look. Again, last time we mentioned looking at people with challenges, disability, etc. And we're saying here that you have people, even with disability, who are permitted to drive, and there are vehicles that are customized to suit their level of disability or their limitations in those areas. And so the people who may have all of their faculties together, or they may have limitations in some, or if you have all of it, but aging is another factor. We're saying that the system must drive itself to ensuring that the safety of others and your safety is maintained by those.
There's another concern that I may have. I'm not sure we are physical. Your physical fitness and individuals who drive for profession, as a profession.
Yeah.
Example, bus drivers, truck drivers, and so forth. Their physical fitness is also important in terms of being able to maneuver and do what they do for the hours that they will sit in the back of a vehicle and drive. There are bus drivers who sit in the back of a vehicle for hours for the day.
Yes.
Truck drivers who drive up and down for the day, they sit there for a couple hours too. So your physical fitness is also important.
And hear what? Often gentlemen especially will report having lower back pains.
Yeah.
And lower back pains would happen for a few reasons. The wallet in the back pocket that's full up all the time, it would aid to particular, sometimes even deformity. You get a hand, low hip, and so on, because you pack all these things in your back pocket or otherwise. And so your posture in seating would also channel your muscles and your nerves in a particular direction that would create pain
because of the consistent
pressure in one area,
quality of the seat you're sitting on also.
And then when you sit and the seat get drooped, and it's no longer sturdy to be able to maintain the weight that you carry. And sometimes persons within buses or people who are sitting a lot, they are easier to generate a bulge in front of them. The belly tends to come forward a bit. And so weight not balanced would also create back pains as well.
And the style of wanting to drive with your seat all the way back, it may look cool.
Yes.
Some folks may think it's cool. I'm driving and I'm all like this. You understand? It's not always the best practice.
So what would be a counter to that is that for persons who are driving, who sit quite often, you should find some time to do stretches.
Yeah.
And you may not be able to do those rigorous physical exercises, but getting your body to the point where you can sweat at times, it is important. And stretching along with exercises, which is followed by dieting, proper dieting, will aid your ability to be safer on road. So people who are driving for a long time, especially those drivers that you mentioned, the buses. Yeah. Gentlemen, you're listening, or somebody listening to this, you need to be able to get out at time or get out sometime or the other, and to ensure that you do stretches, ensure that you do your medical checkup before those back pains that you tend to have. And as I said before, excessive weight and the upper torso would sometimes would create some pressure on the vertebrae, sometimes the cartilage that runs within the vertebrae within the back. Yeah. And the nerve that runs there, sometimes it gets trapped, and people speak about having back pains and so on. All of these factors, because sometimes they do not do the physical activities sufficiently, and the stretches and other things, and the massage, which is a body maintenance process that will aid in your fitness, those two could affect your ability to be in proper control of vehicles.
You talk about the back pain, but sometimes you talk about individuals who maybe for weight reasons, but I have known individuals who, as we would say, they're small, they're skinny, and have those serious back pains. But it's just a matter of how they physical, how they keep themselves, their physical being. You understand?
And I hope it didn't go across as an impediment for people who have weight, but back pains they do happen for different reasons.
Yeah.
And those could be one of it, as I mentioned, that could happen.
All right, of course. Hey, folks, we just have a few more minutes left on today's program. If you do want to contribute in any way, you could always give us a call, 435-2041. Don't forget, we have double options for you to calling. You can call via the WhatsApp, or you can call direct. And let's hear from you. I think we have a lot of conversations for the morning already.
Yes.
Yeah, let's take a call. Call A Live. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. How's everything?
Everything is all right. Same to you. Let's hear from you, please.
We good.
Yeah, they do some repair the road yesterday in town yesterday. They do some repair the road in any case, but the road they do over and over and over and over and over. We still money, guys. That's why the reason why you have to do about 4-5 times, passing out 4-5-6 times, and it can't last long. The material they're using with the tar, this iron stone doesn't last long with tar. It just come out down then. It doesn't last long. If you use softer stone for the tar, you'll be hold better. I told the lady yesterday, all working on that tunnel in the past, because the elderly person was in charge. And she know the able to put, she ain't doing it. They bring the soft mix. Now when you put in a hole, you pack two inside the hole.
Caller, I beg of you to give us a shortened version, please, because we strapped for time.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see about the size of Greenland. Greenland size now need changing. The sign in Greenland need to go up in the, even the streets and all they have in town, that need to go up in the sky. Big writing. This small little thing what you want to see with glasses and microscope, and then that is done. It was both yesterday and tongue lockdown. Why it was coming on Sunday in Greenland, all about Greenland lockdown? They come and bring me for Greenland all about lockdown.
All right, caller. Thank you so much. Let's get another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Good afternoon, right?
Yes, sir.
It's morning in our neck of the woods, maybe afternoon in yours.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Go right ahead, please.
Right. I'm calling from the diaspora. I want to tell Mr. McIntyre, God bless him, man. And the information he gives out to Grenadian, not only Grenadian, people who are listening from the diaspora as well, is excellent. You understand? This man is good, and people need to listen to him. We as Grenadian, we're fortunate to have a man like that who comes on your program every Monday to tell us what is what. So good luck to him, and God bless him, okay?
Thank you. Have a good one, sir. Well. Thank you so much. Okay, Caller, you're live. Good morning. Caller, good morning. You're live. I guess the caller is not paying attention, so let's move to another caller. This one via the WhatsApp. WhatsApp caller, you're live. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning to you.
McIntyre. Just before I sort of have to say, I remember winning something on Flow since December, and nobody has done anything. I went to them and they said they don't know anything about it. But anyway, let me just forget that right now. I applaud Mr. McIntyre for everything that he's doing. And as the man just said, he's doing an excellent job, so continue.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. 435-2041. We have about 3 more minutes left on today's program. Let's take another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning to you, sir.
McIntyre. Yeah. As I've already said, you're too good to be in Grenada. Anyhow,
good enough to be in Grenada.
As far as I'm concerned, physical exercise is the most important thing for a man or a woman to be active. When I say for you to have better eyesight, better muscles, and so on and so on. Now, I realize that this thing is famine. It builds every aspect of your life, your physical body. Whether it be your lungs increases, your heartbeat would be faster and get rid of poison. I'm not saying the heart that get rid of poisonous substance, Get rid of poisonous substance in your body when you do physical things, as for example, walking the land. But a lot of us are thinking about only to sit down behind a desk, and this is what would make us be somewhat unhealthy, and it would even shorten our lives. If we look at farmers, most farmers live 100 and something years, even 90 years, and we could take experience from that. But at the same time, we have to eat good. Well, as Mr. McIntyre eating, he knows all these things, so he has his brain is functioning. His blood seems to be pure. That's why he can think so energetically and fast. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. Sir Mac, of course, just about a minute ago before we take a wrap for today.
Right. So before we go, it would really be remiss of me if I didn't bring to the attention of the public so the authority could take notice of that. There's a house in the going up to the Cherry Hill area where they have that supermarket on that right-hand side there.
Yes.
There's a caution tip that goes there, and there's a landslide.
It's been featured on the news sometime last year. I did notice it was a news feature.
It was.
I don't know if anything was actually done.
I don't think anything is done.
I haven't
up
been
to
to
this
that
point.
side in a wee bit, but it was actually featured where you can see the land is slipping off below.
And I believe there are occupants in that house.
Yeah.
So I really hope that the authority would look into that and the risk factor associated. And finally, I want to also bring to the attention of those who are doing our roads, walk, and so forth, physical infrastructure, the box drain, the slipper drains, and the culverts. I look at the Woodlands area as well, the size of the culvert, and you would realize when you have compressed volume, you get greater impact at the end, and sometimes it could be destructive. Yeah. If you have wider areas to take more volume, you have less force that goes across. So you want to look at the size of that. And in terms of, there is something called invert and culverts. Yeah. In the past, you use inverts that we now replace with slipper drains. Yeah. And in some cases, the slipper drains, they're not deep enough and they do not carry the volume of water in some cases. They're doing some work in the Granite Tank area. We commend them for that. But I do have concern that the slipper may just be a bit too shallow to be able to accommodate. And I think we need more engineering designs and input and study in terms of volume and impacts on these things so that we can generate the appropriate thing. We would wish to see a bit more of the box drains that can be created, or we can put some more inverts or some culverts, and then we can cover them so you get more road space, you have the volume of water can go through, and you have cleaning channels and junctions where you can maintain them from time to time. But as we conclude this program, I just want everybody to be mindful that your physical fitness is a complement to your ability to maneuver a vehicle on the road and to be safe as you move along, and to be safe generally in life.
All right. Mr. McIntyre, I want to thank you. It's always fruitful information every Monday, and it was always a pleasure for me sitting here and, of course, and working alongside you. I do learn a whole lot, and I certainly do appreciate that a whole lot. Yes. And I know our listening and viewing audience do absorb the information we throw also, and they do practice it.
Yeah.
Especially things that
we're seeing results.
We're seeing results from it. So we do have another program next week, once the Almighty permits, health, strength, and everything else. I want to wish you all the best for the rest of the day, sir.
Thank you.
And to our listeners and viewers. And the rest of the week. Also want to wish our listeners and viewers all the best for today. And all the best, folks. That's what we say goodbye for this edition of To The Point. Goodbye, folks.